mosquito. Been bitten by a mosquito. What is going on? What's going on? We've gone live. Let's see if I can hear myself.
The Royal Thai Army declared it is ready to prosecute Campbell. I noticed that for accountants and IT professionals.
Johnny Kong, what's he got to say? Let's see if we are live. Yes, we are live. We've got 2 people watching, which is great. Let's get that up and running. I know it's a Friday afternoon or Friday night, really, in Sydney. Was it 7 o'clock? But if you're home and you're wondering whether or not state sponsorship's opening or what the processing times are, or if you've just got a question about what's going on with your migration situation, ask away and we'll help out. I finished off Aussie Visa, mate, version 2.5, fixed a couple of bugs. I didn't realise, but everyone had complete access to the app for the last week because I left a line of code in which said basically everyone's a subscriber. So if you're one of the 50 odd people who downloaded it in the last week, then congratulations, you've had full access to the app, but it's about to change. You're going to have to pay for it now. But, well, get rid of it, I suppose. You won't have access to it unless you do pay for it. But anyway, I fixed that up. Voyager. I lodged my EOI at 85 points, but ECT on 10th of September. What are my chances? So Voyager, 85 is currently the cutoff. I've got the latest figures. They just came out yesterday. So I had an hour and I was waiting for my girlfriend, and then she said, I'm going to be an hour and a half. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. So I entered them all in. Now, if you've been following, then you'd see total applicants was 6,800, and now total applicants is 7,200. So it's going up, and the predicted cutoff score is 85. The last round was 85, and they took people up to the thing that says now it says there are 374 people on the cutoff. Now, you only applied on the 10th of September, so what I'd be hoping for if I was you, I'd be hoping that they do a big round of 10,000 in November, and that number doesn't go up too much. 85 will be the cutoff, but if you're part of the cutoff, then it goes by the length of time that you've been listed. So fingers crossed for you, Voyager. You're on the cutoff now. I can tell you what, if you look at the state sponsorship outcomes, for state sponsorship for early childhood, there's 46 people on 95 points. There's 662 on 90 points. Now, some of those are multiple applicants because they're applying from offshore and they're applying in different states and things like that. But even so, we're not taking that many. And if you go to the toolkit and you do the state sponsorship wizard and you go early childhood, 85 points, and put all the rest of the stuff in, but we can skip straight through that. It'll tell you, we do not believe that you'll be successful for a 190 application. Your points are 85 and the predicted cutoff is 90. And that's because they take so few people in the state sponsorship, and there's more people. So there's this bizarre situation where you get 5 extra points, but they're not included. But you will get 5 extra points, but there's more people and less numbers. So state sponsorship 491 and 190 actually has a higher score than general skills migration because they take a lot more people in the general skills offer round. So it's tough. Voyager, early childhood, it's very, very tough. You basically need to have a job. Fingers crossed for you with 85 points. Retail pharmacist, let's have a look. We'll go to the VIP section. Pharmacists, I'm pretty sure you need to be sponsored. I don't think retail pharmacist. So it's not on the general skills list, and the states weren't saying we need retail pharmacists. Western Australia took 34, I lie. 34 and 68 regional. Northern Territory took 51 regional, but they've got shitloads of off applicants, right? There's 15,000 retail pharmacists, and all up we've taken 100 of them. So you can see what the demand is like for some of these occupations. You are going to be looking at lots and lots of people applying and high point cutoffs. There's only a couple of trades where it's 65 points. Everyone else, it's like 85. I haven't seen registered nurses 80, but apart from that, man, unbelievable. So if you're a retail pharmacist, you've got to get into Australia and you've got to be employed basically to guarantee yourself a chance. Baljinder Singh, I completed my MBIS from Torrens University, South Australia. I have 3 years TR. What should I do now for PR? So at the moment, information systems, I assume that's what it is. Information systems, they're not getting offers from the States much, or for, and certainly not in general skills migration in the 189. You need to get 12 months work experience, you get a job, and you need to get sponsored. So that is the guaranteed pathway. You know, you've done an IT degree, you've got to meet the IELTS requirement. So you need 12 months experience. That's the one thing you need to do in the next 3 years, is get 12 months experience in IT, and then get your skills assessment. And for it, you can make a background application. I don't know what your English is, and I don't know what your points are. You know, have a look. Maybe there's, in South Australia, maybe there's a student pathway that you could get through. Most of them require that you have work. So 12 months work experience, get work, stick in the job, and that's your path. NS95, must be Windows 95's brother or sister. 75 in a 491. Overall, Vic, working in field, in regional, what's the chance? And we'll get 5 more for work experience. Well, look, first, I don't know what your occupation is, so I can't look anything else up. But secondly, you don't have points, right? You don't have points for things you don't have, right? You do the points test with what the situation that you're in, and that's how many points you've got. You don't get extra points for a 491. Everyone who gets an offer for a 491 is getting extra points, right? You just put in your points, and then you'll get 15 points. But everyone does, right? So it doesn't make, you can't count them because you don't have an offer. It's like saying, when I finish my degree, I'm going to be getting 5 points for Australian study, but that presumes that you're going to finish your degree, right? Or you know, in 3 years' time, I'll have an extra 5 points. It means nothing. Right now, you don't have them, right? So just put in the points that you've got, and that's how you sort it out. How many expressions of interest? And now we get into, now I've got all the meaty data now. It's like, oh, it's so good, right? So let's have a look for aged care. That's registered nurse aged care. Okay. Registered nurse aged care. There it is. So for general skills migration, there's 26 people on 90 points. There's a total of 700 applicants. There's 155 on 85 points. Now, that's regional. For the states, no offers for the states in those areas. Similar sort of figures. And general skills migration, 80 points is the cutoff, 1,250 applicants in total, 190 people were offered last year. So you need 80 points. For a 190, there's, as I just said, there's a lot of applicants. There's 1,600 applicants. Some of those are doubled up because they apply in multiple states. But you're still going to need 90 or 85 points, and even if you do, the states haven't offered those specialties, right? And I think the thing is, the states are trying to favour their international students, and the international students generally are not elsewhere classified. They don't have a specialty yet. They don't have enough work experience, right? So that's that one. Sashid. Cool Deep. I have a UAE license. If you're a truck driver, and I've got a lot of truck drivers, oh, man, have I got truck drivers? I could be a bigger company than Lindsay Fox at the moment. It's ridiculous. You need to register, and there'll be a Teams meeting or something like that sometime next week to go through everything for everyone. So you need to register. It's in the truck driver information. The link is in my bio, and if you go there, you'll all be good. Now, people, if you're watching, you can like and share and get it all happening. You know, if you've got a cent spare, then punch a rose at me. If it comes up on my forehead saying join the fan club, fans apparently are a good thing, so join the fan club. Assistant in nursing is not listed. I can't find it, so I don't know what the story is with that, Kiev. In ECT, well, I've done early childhood, I've just covered them off. Is New South Wales opening soon this October? Well, Victoria opened, and they said that they said that they're expecting their allocation in the next few weeks, and a few is two. So hopefully they will all be opened by the end of October. So I can't guarantee it, but that's what we're looking at. So, oops, that's the wrong thing. Oh God, why can't I? Okay, well, I'll worry about it later. Are Ugandans allowed? People from anywhere can apply. There's no restriction. But if you're looking to be a truck driver, you need to meet certain requirements. And one of those is that you've done an English test. Another one is that you've got 3 years work experience. And it might be that your license in your country is not recognised in Australia, and you need to do a proper driving school before you can get your license here. But that's what we'll go through in the meeting. So Uncle Stay Soft, okay. I'm doing well. Probably better than you by the sounds of it. Could you please share my email address? Well, it's on the screen there at the bottom of the red section. It says inquiries@dragonmigration.com. If you send me an email, please don't just say hi. Ask me a question, and if it's about truck driving, I'm going to direct you to my bio, so you can do that. Hussein Shazad, welders, EOI's data. Yes, we've got it all. We've got it all, and you can download the app, Aussie Visa Mate. There's a new version coming out today or tomorrow. As soon as Apple processes it, it's there waiting to be given the okay. And we're looking at welders, Aussie Visa Mate, way to go. First class welders. Is right up to date, this information. It just came out Thursday or Wednesday. So I've just downloaded it all. 550 applicants for welding. The points cut off. Oh, hang on. For the 189, there's 375 applicants. We took about 60, which is not many, and the points cut off was 90. That's how many we did in August, and they're going through the processing now. If we look at the state figures, there's no one left on 90. They took all the people on 90. So if you got 90, you're in. If they do it again, you're in. Points cut off, 42 people on 85 points. They'd be looking good. And 66 people on 80 points. I think if you've got less than that, the states, New South Wales and South Australia, they only took 77 between them. So if you don't have 80 points, you're not going to get a Guernsey. That's not 80 points with points for the state sponsorship. That's your points that you have now. So you need 80 points. And for regional areas, similar sort of situation. The South Australia took 20. There's 82 applicants there. So, you know, obviously all 82 of those applicants, they probably don't have 85 and 80. South Australia, you might get in with 75 points, right? Because people onshore can only apply for one state. You've got to be living and working in the state to be eligible for almost all of them. And if you're wondering if you go to the toolkit, the new toolkit, that's the toolkit, but we've got the new state sponsorship wizard. So you can enter in what your points are on the points test, what your occupation is. You can say how much work experience you've got, your total work experience, are you working currently or not. A lot of people require that you're currently working in a job, in your nominated job, and a lot of them require that to be at the case when you apply and at the case when they grant you a nomination. So you can't lose your job or you won't be eligible. Where are you living? You pick your state, let's say New South Wales. How long have you lived there? We'll say 18 months. And have you studied in Australia? No, we didn't study here. We won't put that one in. And then there's some special things for some places. Are you a Victorian student? Do you have a WA employment contract? Do you meet the ACT business requirement? Do you have a job offer in the NT? All little specialist things that make you eligible in those particular states. And then it comes up with a beautiful, beautiful report saying, we do not believe you'll be successful for the 190 visa application. Your points are 85 and the predicted cutoff is 90. There are 9,479 applicants for this occupation for state sponsorship for the 190 visa, which is, oh, and there's a typo. Wow. Which I should fix, but now I can't because I'll have to resubmit the app, but I'll do it and update it next time. And then we do not believe that you will be successful for a 491 visa. It tells you why, it tells you how many people you're up against. So that's part of the toolkit, which everyone's got access to. You just need to download the app and check out your situation. Obviously, all of the 30 or 40 streams of, you know, onshore, offshore, 8 states, students, all the different permutations and combinations of requirements for all the states for state sponsorship. They're all in the app, and it'll tell you which one. If you're offshore, it'll tell you which ones you need to, what states you can apply for and which ones you're eligible for. So there you go. That's welders. We've done ECT. Lex Luthor studied biomed. That's hardly surprising. Currently on a 485 visa. I got into Doctor of Medicine. What visa should be after graduate? Well, who knows? Because you're going to be studying medicine for 6 years, aren't you? Or 5 years or something like that. I don't know. You're a mad scientist, Lex Luthor. You might be on a criminal justice visa. I don't know. But if you're on a 485, you'll have to go offshore to get your next student visa, won't you? Unless there's some special dispensation for PhD students. I don't do much in the student visa. I don't do anything in the student visa space. So it's not a regular question for me. There you go. I am studying masters in data science. What is the perfect career switch? I've got no idea. Sue, it's your career, it's your life. Do what it is that you want to do. I can't tell you what you should work as. If you want advice, be a doctor. We need doctors. We'll always need doctors. I was wondering, the demand for hotel motel manager, EY cutoff and 190 processing times. You're just wasting your time, right? Hotel managers are, I don't think they're getting offers at all. For state sponsorship, it's not on the general skills list. For state sponsorship, a couple of states. Western Australia took 100 of them, 731 applicants. In regional areas, Western Australia took 65 again. If you well, download the app, you can look at it. You need 85 points by the looks of it. You need 85 points before you'll be looked at, and you'll need to be in one of those states which South Australia, Tasmania, or Western Australia. Tasmania requires you to have lived there and worked there for, I think, 12 months at least. South Australia, I'm not sure about. I think Western Australia requires you to be there for 12 months as well. So the best thing, look, if you're a hotel manager, get sponsored by your employer is the way to go. Now, if you've lodged your visa, the English requirement is at the time. So it doesn't matter if it's expired after the event. It's a time of application criteria. So if you've lodged, you're good. Kings, there's no Android version yet. If people bought the Mac version, then I could afford to get it done. We're only basically covering costs. It doesn't cover anything near what my time is in developing this app. I've been working on it since February, so that's seven months of my time. Finn, I'm a woman welder. Well, women can weld. The visa system doesn't discriminate. The red flag, what about 190 Darwin this year? Again, I don't know. I don't know what the occupation is, but you can download Aussie Visa Mate and look it up. Darwin, of course, is the Northern Territory. Pretty much all of the Northern Territory, apart from Alice Springs. But between those two places, there's not much else going on. There's a really nice hot springs called Mataranka if you're driving between the two. But that's about it. The name of the app is Aussie Visa Mate, and if you go there, you can go to the link AVM for Aussie Visa Mate .dragonmigration.com, and that'll take you straight to the App Store and the page where you can download my app. Ian followed the host. Now, if you're not a follower, following's free. So follow, yes. And if you're watching, gifts are good. Liking and sharing is good. We've only got 131 likes so far, so it'd be really helpful. It'd be really helpful if people were liking and getting more people involved. I know it's Friday night. You've probably got a beer in one hand. It's hard to like with the other one, but give it a go. Diamonds are forever. The app is Aussie Visa Mate. Someone's a truck driver. Truck drivers can go up to my profile, and when you see the link tree, click on that and go through to the top selection, truck driver information. Put in your email address and you'll send a 2-page PDF, tells you everything you need to know. SNXJHN, when I'm granted my 186 visa, how long must I remain with my employer after? So it's a common question, and you've got to be a little bit careful, right? If you've been working for the employer on a 482 and you've done a transition, you're pretty safe to resign the day you get your visa, basically. The employer says that they've got a job for you for the next 2 years, but they're not sponsoring you anymore. It's called the employer nomination visa. They're nominating you for PR. So and my experience is basically about 50% of people looking to either go and do their own thing, or they want a promotion, or whatever it might be. They're going to leave straight away, right? And for most people, it's like a bit of an open thing. You work for me for 2 years and I'll get you PR. It's sort of like getting a bonus at the end of the year, right? For people who are doing direct entry, which is becoming more and more common because of the long processing times, if you're doing direct entry, then you've never worked for the employer, probably, and they've spent money and paid a training fee and things like that. If you just resign, even though you're eligible to resign, you're not tied to the employer for any period of time, they can complain to the department, and the department can say, well, you had no intention of ever working for this person. You just did it to get your permanent residence, and they can cancel your visa. It's a permanent visa and they can cancel it. And there's been cases where this has happened and it's gone through to the AAT, the forerunner to the ART, and the tribunal agreed with the department and said, yeah, this guy's a scammer and it's all cool, you can cancel the visa. So if you're doing direct entry, then what I suggest you do, if you don't want to leave, make sure you've got another job to go to in the same occupation that's paying you more money. So you can say, well, I was going to work there, but he was only offering me 80,000 and I've got this job now paying me 100,000. What do you expect me to do? Of course I'm going to move, but I'm still I'm still a bricklayer, or I'm still an accountant or whatever. I'm still helping the Australian economy. It's just I'm not working for him because he wouldn't pay me the market rate. Okay? So you've got to look after yourself. The other thing you can do is you can get yourself sacked, right? Because then they can't complain because they sacked you, right? So that's the things that you need to watch out for, as opposed to how long do you have to stay with your 186? Permanent residence, it's not sponsored. You don't need to stay at all. But if you've done direct entry, you got to be careful, right? When is New South Wales going to open? Well, they don't have a 189 allocation. That's the federal government or the Commonwealth government. The 190s, Victoria said they're expecting their full allocation in the next few weeks in their email yesterday, I think. So if they get theirs, they'll all get them. So they should all have them in October, which is terrible because it's like 4 months into the year. They should have had them back in July. But that's what we're expecting. When we'll be applying after 2 years on 482, rural probation will probably 3.5 years by the time. Well, that's right. If you've been there on the 482 for a couple of years, the transition's currently taking 14 months. It doesn't look like it's getting any faster. So yeah, you probably will be there. You do need to be very careful that you don't lose your job in that period, because you'll blow your money. It's not transferable, the actual application. You'd have to find a new employer. You have to watch out that the business doesn't get sold or merge or anything like that, because any of those factors can affect you as well. SC 87153748, what's better for us, a family of 5, passed a skills assessment in the UK as a plumber, a 491 or a 190? Well, I don't know how old your oldest kid is, but like it's a 2-year wait, and plumbers, I think you're much better off getting to Australia. If you pass the skills assessment, I'd get here and get a job. Plumbers, I don't know which one's which. That's the one. For general skills migration, they use the 2013 ANSCO, and for the CSOL, they use the 2022 C number. So they've got different numbers, which is why. But plumbers general, there's 131 applicants, 75 points have 24, and 39 points have 70. So depending on what your points are, and 34 have 65 points. New South Wales, Queensland, well, there's no offers for state sponsorship, and in the regional areas, there's no offers there as well. So if there's no offers, you either wait for a GSM application and hope you get one of those, or you jump on a plane and go to a couple of pubs and meet some plumbers and try and land yourself a job. That's what you need. 9's the oldest, so you got time. See, these 491s and 190s, the processing time's 2 years. Even if you get a gig, you're not going to be in Australia for 2 years. You know, I'd be jumping on a tourist visa. You'll walk into a pub, meet a plumber, and they'll offer you a job. You know, especially if you're in like probably Perth, right? Where you know they're desperate for construction people. So yeah. Why is the department taking so long giving a 189 grant? People are waiting more than 9 months. There's only a small number of people who are waiting since November. The figure a month ago was like 500, which is only 5% of the total number. And the reason it's taking so long is because they're checking out your work experience, and they can't either can't find the employers, or people aren't returning calls, or the embassy's super busy. That's the reason why. Civil construction is Stephanie. Civil construction draftsperson. Civil construction draftsperson. So there's 5,065 applicants, and 90 was the cutoff. We offered about 600 last year, but 90 is very high, very high. On the state side of things, there are 10,000 applications. So a lot of people offshore who are doubling up in multiple states. And then, like, people aren't, like Western Australia's the only one taking any numbers. They're taking 326 of 3,800. But the rest of the states, New South Wales taking 31, South Australia taking 39, Victoria taking 36. Looking at the cutoff points that are there, 52 people have got 95 points, 410 people have got 90 points, and 1,000 people have got 85 points. So we're not taking 1,000 people. If you don't have 85 points, you're not going to get state sponsorship. You're probably going to need 90 points. So and meet all the other criteria for the states in that area for Western Australia. So I think you need to have if you're offshore, you need an employment offer, and if you're onshore, I think you need to have 12 months work experience from memory. So SK Gold, is there such a thing as an ROI for WA state? So it's a two-part process, right? You lodge an expression of interest with the department. That's the Department of Immigration, the federal Commonwealth body department, and then you have to lodge a request for information on the WA state migration plan, so that they know more things than what you put in your EOI. So they want to know, are you living in Western Australia, and were you an international student there, and do you have a job offer, and how long have you worked there? They ask more questions, and then based on the extra things that they ask, they'll determine if they're going to give you an offer or not. So they put in all these things in place to basically exclude the number of people. They want to find people who are committed to living in the state. Back in the day, all these people would get 190 applications and state sponsorship, and they'd fly straight to Sydney. They'd never set foot in Perth or Western Australia. They probably wouldn't even go and visit. So they just go, "Well, I've got my PR. Woohoo! I'm there, right?" So to get around that, they're saying, "Well, if you've got a job offer, we know you're going to come to Perth. If you're already working here, we know you're going to stay in Perth." So that's what the situation is. Enzi says, hello, you're a baker in Tasmania with 85 points. I think bakers, let's have a look. Bakers, this is a 190, no offers. In Tasmania, 315 applicants. There's 10,000 bakers trying to get state sponsorship. Bakers are on the list. 90 points is what you needed as an independent. Regional areas, no offers. So if you don't get a GSM application, you need to be sponsored by your employer, NZ. The chance, zero. You need 90 points. So if you're 10 points shy, you are going to miss out. The processing time. So the Aussie Visa Mate has got processing times, and we update them whenever they change. 186 direct entry is 12 to 18 months, and 186 transition is 14 to 18 months. There's no app for Android yet. If more people bought the app, I'd be able to invest more time in doing it. What are the driver rates? Look, if you want to be a truck driver or something like that, I went to Seek the other day. The average is 80,000 a year, which is enough to get a work visa. But that's going to be sort of, I don't know, driving a mail truck around Sydney or something like that, right? The jobs, these are all jobs in regional areas. They're doing long haul stuff, so you're going to be earning, I don't know, over 100,000, 120,000. If you're working on a mining site, they're paying 160 to 200. So it just depends on, what you're licensed for, where you want to work, and things like that. There's a wide disparity about what truck drivers get paid. I suppose the more lonely and boring and longer the drive, the more you get paid because it's harder to find people. So, Tammy, I missed you. What about someone who's already on a 482 but applies for a 186? Can they leave straight away? Well, I've answered that. I didn't miss you. I answered it. The answer is yes. But you can't. You have to wait until the grant of the 186. You can't do it before then. So I hope you feel loved. But Tammy, I haven't received any gifts from you, so you missed me as well. So now I've answered your question. Maybe you be a bit more forthcoming. Is everyone liking and sharing and all the rest of it? Abdul, there's 10,000 people applying, right? Do you think there's a good state? No, there's no states that are good. You're a baker, you need to get a job as a baker. If you're offshore, I think you're wasting your time unless you're a baker to the King of England. So, yes. Janitha, Victoria civil engineer here. I've got 75 points. You don't have enough. You do not have enough. Civil engineers, there you go. Predicted cutoff score was 90. There were no offers. Let's have a look at the states. The states are making offers, but 34 people have got 105 points, 159 people have got 100 points, and 715 people have got 95 points. So, look, Western Australia is taking 446, New South Wales taking 217, 100 each in Victoria, Queensland and South Australia. So 456, 650, 780, 950. That's basically all the 95 points and higher. And then there's 1,600 on 90 points. So if you don't have 90 points, you've got no chance. And if you're just making an application now, well, there's 1,600 people ahead of you on 90 points. It'll take you at least 2 years to get there, and it's just going to go up, right? More people applying than what is happening. So, Janitha, you need a job, and you'll be able to get a job. If you're here in Australia, you'll be able to get a job as a civil engineer. They're in demand. Like, we're bringing in thousands of them. Look, state sponsorship, there's 18,800 applicants. I mean, if you're not in the country, get into the country and start applying for jobs. Get ahead of those people who are offshore. Tammy, anytime after the 186 grant, champ. If you've been there for 2 years and then another 18 months or 14 months on your 186, you can call in sick on the day you get the grant and never turn up. Right? You're all good. So, direct entry 186 for shove it. Estefani. Estefani, I've just done what you wanted. So if you don't understand it, download the app and look at it yourself. Adabong, telecommunications in Victoria. There's about 5 or 6 telecommunications jobs, so I can't look it up for you. It doesn't mean anything. Download the app, Aussie Visa Mate, and check it out for yourself. Faizan, is 491 is going to be changed? Is it going to be 2 years for 191? I really doubt. Well, look, I don't know if they're going to change those things or not. I wouldn't be in favour of it. I believe that people should be working here for 4 years before they can get PR. So 2 years is insufficient in my view, but that's just my opinion. But if you think people are going to be making it easier, maybe the Labor government will. I don't know. But the thing is that they've got this. They've got this what do they call it? They've got this migration plan, right, which says we're only going to get 185,000 permanent residents, right? And that includes people who are on the 191 and it includes people on the 186, right? And it includes spouse visas and everyone and general skills migration. Now, if they change people from a 491, which is a temporary visa, and make it easier, then it just means that they're going to accept more people as permanent residents. You're already in the country, so you're not really affecting things like rents and housing prices and shit like that, right? But it looks bad politically, and the government's just not going to be going, oh yeah, we just need to make it easier for 30,000 more people to get PR. The reality is we've got 225,000 people on 482 visas, and after 2 years, like half of them, that's 100,000 or 110,000, they can make applications for PR, and the planning level for 186 is only 40,000. So we've got 110,000 people who are eligible. It's uncapped, so it's demand driven, but the people planning say, oh, we'll only get 40,000. It's like bullshit. We're going to get at least 100,000, right? That's why they're doing 2 years working for the employer so they can get PR at the end of it, right? So, the actual figure, they say, it's only 185,000. Oh, it's a small number. It's we've got 95,000 spouse applicants. They only plan on like 35,000 or 40,000 of those as well. But we've got 95,000 applicants. We've got 2 years supply of spouse visas. All of them. The planning level is half the demand for what we're receiving. So, I really don't think that they're going to make it easier, and particularly for people on a 491, because it's the worst visa you could possibly be on heading to it. Like, you couldn't get a 189, and you couldn't get a 189, and you couldn't get a 190. You had to be on some super expanded list, and living in a regional area to get the Guernsey. It's not a high priority. It's not going to be a high priority. So I can't imagine they're going to make it easier for people. The logistics. I have a diploma in mechanical engineering. I think as an engineer, you need to have you need to have a degree. I could be wrong, but I think you need to have a degree. So I don't think you'll be able to get a skills assessment. The logistics. Maybe you could come here as a student and do a degree in mechanical engineering. Janitha, should I change the state? No. There's no point changing the state, because you need a job, right? The state you need is the state of employment, right? So you need a job. Changing states just means you're moving from one really in-demand state to another really in-demand state. It doesn't affect your points. You'll need to get a job to qualify in any event, so you need work. Laboratory medical scientist with 80 points in Victoria. So, look, laboratory manager, medical laboratory, getting the names around the wrong way. Lucky my app's quick. Okay, there's 435 applicants, not very many. Predicted cutoff was 85, but it was 90. So they didn't take too many people. If we look at the states, no offers for the states, and you can see 51 people on 90 points, 114 people on 85 points, 80 points, 217. They're not taking enough people to really get rid of the people on 90 points. So you might get lucky with 85 points. But at the moment, there's no state offers. I believe you will need, I'm going to get a drink. I believe that you will need a job. Estefani, send me roses. I appreciate it. We're up to 3. Try and get 50 every 2-hour session. 50 cents for 2 hours. I'm the cheapest agent in town. Samuel has followed me. Following is good. If you're not a follower, following is free. Likes are free, shares are free. You can join the fan club, maybe that'll cost you a cent. Fan clubs are good. Deshaun, we've done civil drafts persons. You will need to download Aussie Visa Mate to check it out for yourself. Logistics, if you only have a diploma, you're not qualified. If the occupation says you must have a degree, then you need 5 years work experience or a degree. And if you're trying to get a 482, you'll need 6 years of experience. You'll need 5 years because you don't have a degree, and that'll qualify you, and then you'll need 1 year as your work experience. So if you've got 6 years experience, you could do it that way. Architectural draftsperson on 90. SK Gold. Architect, draftsperson. Okay, it's not on the 189. You're looking for state offers. State offers, 53 people on 95, 182 people on 90. Western Australia invited 114 people from 700 applicants. I'd say you'd have a good chance if they took 114 people. You'd be one of the people on 90 points. We don't know, there's 182. We don't know where they are, right? But if 20% of them were in Western Australia, then you could be one of those, and that's 36 people. So if they take 100 again, I reckon you're a good chance. You got to meet all the other requirements for Western Australia. Like if you're offshore, you might need to have a job offer. If you're onshore, you might need to be working for 12 months or living there for 12 months. I can't remember which one it is. But if you go to my toolkit, and there's the state sponsorship wizard there in green, and enter in all your details, it'll tell you whether or not you're eligible for Western Australia or not. And you can get that. There it is. Oh, there. Aussie Visa Mate, avm.dragonmigration.com. Download it today and make your life so much easier. What of civil construction draftsperson with 80 points? Didn't we do civil? I can't remember if we did them or not. Or we did, we'll have a look. Civil construction drafts. No, we did civil engineering. There is no civil construction draftsperson. If it's civil engineering, we've already done it, Chaz, and you don't have the points. I'll say it again. You've only got 80 points. That's all. When you're looking at the app, you've only got 80, right? Because you don't have the state nomination yet. You've only got 80 points. So, Tammy, oh no, maybe 1 year on 482, then 186 direct entry. You could do that as well. So, that's a possibility. Cork boy from Cork and Ireland. That's my Cork accent. Probably not a very good one. I'm a sustainability advisor about to be sponsored by a company, but I have a new girlfriend. So just you need to show that you live together, and show that for a temporary visa, it's not like a spouse application. That it's very lax, right? But you need to show that you're more than a girlfriend and boyfriend. So have a joint bank account, show that you live together with a joint lease, and take some happy snaps or whatever, and you're probably there. You don't need to go through getting statutory declarations and all this kind of stuff. But because the thing is, for a 482, you're being sponsored, so your whole family unit, that'll be you and your girlfriend, she'll be sponsored by the employer. So if you lose your job, she loses her visa as well, and the employer has to foot the bill to get you out of the country. So it's not the government really doesn't care that much, right? Whereas a spouse visa, permanent, you're here forever. They don't want people being too fraudulent about it, or fraudulent at all about it, right? Because people are here and then they're stuck here, right? We can't get rid of them. But it's a much lesser test for a temporary visa, even like adding people to student visas and things like that. You've got to show the financial thing for a student visa. But on a 482, you've got to show that you live together, and a joint bank account, that kind of, some happy snaps together. Don't, they'll check your Facebook and all that kind of stuff. Make sure it doesn't say happily single or it's complicated or something like that, make sure it says, I started my relationship with such and such, and it's out there in the world and everyone knows about it, right? Civil draftsperson we've done. Life scientist, you need a job quack. We'll have a quick look just in case I am wrong, but life scientist general, it's on the list. 100 points, 33 people. Oh, man. 90 was the cutoff for general skill. We took 90 out of 260, which is quite high. We took 90 points. It's been 90 points for a long time. States, no offers. Regional, no offers. So if you don't get a GSM application, you're not looking good from the states. Cork, we've done. Yep, SK Gold, if you want more information about your individual case, you can book an appointment with me and I will run through it. I have 20 years experience in truck. Samuel, truck drivers, just go up to my bio. There's a link there, and then enter in your email address. You'll get the information sheet and we can take it from there. Any chance for an ICT engineer having 4 years of onshore experience? Bupen Timilsina. Get sponsored by your employer. You're not going. There's no offers for ICT people. Doesn't matter how much experience you've got. It's all points based for general skills, and they made no offers in the last round. They'll probably make offers in November, but you'll probably need 90 or 100 points. So if you don't have incredible amounts of points, then get sponsored by your employer. You can, and yeah, the ICT engineer. ICT engineer is not even I don't know if it's a support engineer, a systems tester, I don't know which one. So you'll need to download the app to have a look. Living in the ACT, and then you'll have to do the what do you call it? The Canberra Matrix. Deary me. Yes, I definitely do 482 visas, Tammy. So drop me a DM, I can help you out. Ish Gupta, I am a carpenter. Drop me a DM or just send an email to inquiries@dragonmigration.com. We can get started on it straight away. I'm a carpenter and work on an ABN. Can I claim my salary in ROI as I work on an ABN? I don't know. You'll have a tax return. So whatever's in your tax return is what your income is. So if you're claiming your tools and your depreciation and your travel and shit like that, I wouldn't be claiming everything that you're billing out to people. But if I don't know, I assume you're in Victoria. I think they ask for a salary figure. I've never done one, but I recently looked at it, and they seem to provide quite a lot of information about how you calculate it and if you're self-employed and all the rest of it. But I didn't need it for my app, so I didn't put it in. Biotechnologist, Ken the biotechnologist, 189 visas, 90 was the cutoff. For the states, no offers despite applicants. There's 23 people on 100 points, 47 people on 95 points, and 90 people on 90 points. I think you're going to need 90 points. So with 80 points, no. And New South Wales did not make any offers for you. Ken, you need a job if you're in New South Wales. I've done Ish Gupta. 95 points in Vic for a systems analyst. What is the chance for this financial year? Well, let's have a look. You can download Aussie Visa Mate and you will be kept up to date. Systems analyst in Victoria. They took 42 and there's 1,100 applications. 74 people are on 105. points. 338 people are on 100 points, and 756 people are on 95 points. So, Alex, there are 400 people with more points, or 412 people with more points than you. They won't all be in Victoria, but Victoria took 42 out of 1,100, which is less than 5%. So, if they only took 42, I think they probably all got 100. But maybe I don't know where you are in the 95 points. Are you at the front of that 750, or are you at the back of that 750? Very difficult to say. Vic does not require you to work in your nominated occupation, but you need to work. There you go. I'm a carpenter and work on ABN. Can I claim my salary in... Oh, I've done that one. J491, thank you very much. Jazz, hi. How long takes a visa grant for a registered nurse? Doesn't matter what your occupation is. I'm saying it's 3 to 5 months. So that's what it was back in December, January when we did the last round. It was 3 to 5 months. So there's no reason to expect it will be any more than that. The department's website currently says 8 to 8 months because they processed more than 90% of the applications that they had back in January. So everyone who's left is 8 months. But that was before this new round, and they've got applications coming in. So there you go. Jagath, well, you're wrong, Jagath, aren't you? See, you're stupid if you think I'm against students or I'm against migrants. So we just have too many international students. I've never said we should have none, but we have too many scammers. We have too many people like you who just, make false accusations and defame people. We don't need you in the country for sure. So off you go. And if you'd like to know, being a migration agent is actually a very rewarding job. You're helping people who come from, essentially a lot of them come from shitholes, and giving them a better life. So why do I do the job? Well, because it's morally rewarding. Okay, electrical engineers. Electrical engineers are on the list. There's 9,900 applicants. So there's a lot of people. 82 of them, just 82, have got 100 points, and 351 have got 95 points. That's for the states. All the states are taking about 50. No one's taking over 100. So you need 95 points really. Maybe if you're lucky, 90 points. You have to be really lucky. GSM is 4,600 people. We took 190. There were no offers last round, so state will be opening pretty soon. Some of them have opened. Canberra, I didn't look at what they actually, for electrical engineers, if they took electrical engineers, but it's on their website. They've posted who they offered, the occupations that they offered. You can check out Canberra if you are interested there. How about enrolled nurses? Fanboy, enrolled nurses. Enrolled nurses. Enrolled nurse, that's better. GSM, so it's on the list, but no offers in the last round. If we look at state sponsorship, so there's 9,900 applicants as an enrolled nurse, right? Now and no offers for state sponsorship, like get a job. You need to be sponsored as an enrolled nurse. And if you want a future in nursing, well, get into a degree and become a registered nurse, right? Because that's the pathway, right? We need registered nurses. Enrolled nurses, it's sort of a bit of a dead-end job, really. You just do the same thing over and over again. It's paid poorly. And look, the demand is just enormous. Almost 10,000. I mean, wow. Hence AS Indonesia. Okay. Carpenter Trang Tran, recruitment consultant offshore for all states. You got no chance as a recruiter, right? Recruiters need to be sponsored. I was a recruiter for 12 years. If you go into any recruitment company, there's always a shitload of English and Irish and they're all sponsored on work visas, right? You need a base salary above the T-SMIT, which is 76,515. So you need a base salary of 80,000, and then your commission on top of that because it's guaranteed earnings that they need to consider. Okay, so Trang, you need a job. If you're offshore, you need to come as a tourist or working holiday visa or a student and apply for work when you're here and go for it, right? Electrical engineering. Did we do electrical engineers? Electrical engineer. I think we did electrical engineers. We did. We've already done electrical engineers. Wendy, well, Victoria is now open. It opened 2 days ago, or yesterday. I can't remember which day it was. Yesterday or the day before. Victoria is open, and they said that they've got a provisional, or they've got 200 190s and they've got 160 491s, and they're open for applications. You can lodge now, and they expect their full allocation in the next, they said, a few weeks. So if they think it's going to be this month, every state's going to have it this month, right? That's what we all said last month, but we'll see. But Victoria is open and you can do it. Sachin, Bandary, we've done ECTs. You need 85 points or a job. Quality surveyor. And if you're watching and you're not a follower, following's free. So do that. If you've got a spare penny in your pocket, gifting roses helps me out. Helps the channel out anyway. Doesn't make any difference to me, I can tell you. It helps the channel. These won't even pay my internet bill, let alone help me out. Jesus. Quantity surveyors. It's not there. It's because I've got quality surveyors. Quantity surveyor, there you go, if I could spell. There's 1,530 applicants, that's for the states. Let's go to GSM. GSM, 800 applicants, 130 offers last year. Predicted cutoff was 85, no offers in the last round. The states, Western Australia took 70, hardly surprising, and no regional offers. So Western Australia is your only hope. There's 41 people on 95 points and 113 people on 90 points. So if you've got 90 points, you're probably a reasonable chance as a quant surveyor. If you're applying in, well, you'll have no chance unless they actually make an offer for you on a 189. But state-wise, Western Australia's the go. Michael, chefs. Oh, I'd be scared to look at chefs. I mean, chefs, 13,600 applicants in the state applications, 11,400 individual chefs. Predicted cutoff was 80, no offers. No, 11,400 people have done a skills assessment and an English test, and the government couldn't find one spot for chefs. What a rort. From the states, Western Australia took the most. You're going to need, if we say 800, if we say 1,500 people, you need at least 85 points. If you're a chef with 75, then I don't think you're going to get a Guernsey. There's too many applicants. Tasmania took 451 of 499, so maybe in Tasmania, and the Northern Territory took 227 of 392. You'll need to find out what the criteria are if you need to be well, you'll need to probably be a resident for both of them, but how long you need to be a resident before you're eligible for those pathways. Download the app and get the good oil. Tanifa, 80 points as a mining or petroleum engineer. I couldn't find it last time. I remember you asking me. Mining engineer, excluding petroleum. Excluding, so you're not a petroleum engineer, you've got to be a mining engineer. 509 applications. We only took less than 40. 90 points is what was needed. You've only got 80, so I think you have no chance. There's 37 people on 95 points and 70 people on 90 points. And another 107 people on 85 points. I don't think you have a chance, Tanifa. You need a job offer. Mockingjay is back. We were talking yesterday. Is it true that the government is removing a fortnight? I haven't heard anything about it. I'd cheer if they did, because I think it's a terrible visa. We could, like, I would get rid of the whole general skills migration. We don't need it. We've got so many people coming in on the employment pathway. If they're serious about reducing net migration to a sustainable level, they should get rid of the 491 for sure. But yeah, the 190, we could just have that 491. Like there's a family stream at 491. They don't do anything with that now. People don't make offers. Although there is a family stream in the Northern Territory if you've got family that's lived here for a year or 2 years or something. I don't know if maybe is there a press release that's come out today? I haven't heard anything about it, but it wouldn't be the end of the world if they actually got rid of it. Put it that way. Not in my view, anyway. We've done chefs, Sash, and we've done ECTs. ECTs need 85. Very soon you're going to need 90, right? I'll put it up again just so you get the general drift. But 2 days ago, that's state sponsorship. 2 days ago, it was 6,800 total applicants. In a month, now we're up to almost 7,300. So it's gone up 500 applicants in the space of a month. And if you follow Johnny Kong on TikTok as well, he said a couple of weeks ago or a month or two ago that there's 6,000 ECT students at CSU, I think it was, or SCU, one of the two anyway. So there's 500 a month coming off, going, oh, I'm going to get PR. So no, you need a job, right? If you don't have 85 points, and pretty soon it'll be 90 points, you need a job. State sponsorship, you'll actually need 90 points to get an offer, because there's 662 people on 90 points, and there's not that many state offers. So you need a lot of points. ECT is not some easy pathway. You're a carpenter with 60 points. I don't think you'll get accepted. I think the cutoff is 65. But you'll get work. Like, just if you're in the UK, if you're young and in the UK, under 35, you can get a working holiday visa. Come out here and go for your life. If you're over 35, then come out on a tourist visa, go have a couple of beers in a pub, and if you don't bump into a chippy and get work, then you're not drinking enough. Event organisers and event managers, I think, I was surprised actually. I think these ones, conference and event organiser, no offers, but Western Australia did 41 offers out of 212 applicants. Points was there's 32 people on 95 points, and there's 86 people on 90 points, so you need to have crap loads of points. But if you get here, then you can get a job like so many people want to be event organisers. I mean, it's a low paid job, and there's a lot of demand for it. 'Cause it's seen as it's sort of like being in film, it's seen as a sexy type job, but it's always low paid, unless you're like a mega superstar, unless you're George Clooney or Jen Lawrence, because we had someone here mentioning the Hunger Games, Mockingjay. I Feel King. Hello. What about ECT? We've done chefs. Registered nurse for Blessing. Just the registered nurses. Like I always say to people, go-to occupation is registered nurse. But we have 6,300 registered nurses. Now, bear in mind, these people have to be registered before they apply. They have to have done their skills assessment. 6,300. Like if we actually had a nursing shortage, which we're told we do, so I assume we do, right? There's 6,000 people trying to get into the country as nurses. I'm sure we could sort of fix it. The cutoff currently is 80, and there's another 341 people on 80. State sponsorship. Look, there's 185 people on 90. There's 700 on 85, and there's 1,800 on 80 points. So it's not going to fall below 80. There's literally 2,500 people with 80 points or more. You need it, right? Western Australia took the most at 195. Download Aussie Visa, mate. The best thing to do is get to Australia, get a job, and get sponsored on a 482 work visa. That is the deal. Abu Bakar Guja. Any idea about automotive technicians in New South Wales? I think aeronautical engineers. No, automotive, different kind of vehicle. So, well, that's the states. There were no state offers. There's only 92 applicants. Only 90. God, I hope that's not today. There's only 92 applicants, and there's no offers. It's the kind of thing where you'd need to get a job. There's no regional offers either. So it's basically, it's on the list, but no one cares. I don't know why they put it on the list if they're not going to offer at least one person. But if you're in New South Wales, if you've done the course here or whatever, then get 12 months work experience if you don't have it already, and then get sponsored by an employer. You'll definitely get a job as an automotive technician, EV technician, motor mechanic, diesel mechanic, all those sort of fields. There's huge demand, right? Because people haven't been going into those fields on apprenticeships and things like that. So people are retiring, so we're running out. And of course, all the EV stuff, like all these new EVs, there's no showrooms or anything like that. They ship them from the wharf to the house, and they still need to be, plug in the USB and make sure they've got, I don't know, battery charge or whatever turns over. I know they don't have that many moving parts, but they must have something that needs to be checked. Chefs, we've done chefs. We've done chefs. You'll need to download the app. Asfandul, the welfare workers. Welfare workers. No offers. States, it's on the state list. 918 applicants, 42 with 90 points, 112 with 85 points, 149 with 80 points. South Australia, Victoria and Western Australia is the only ones who are making offers. For those small numbers, you'd need to have 85 points. You might be lucky at 80 points depending on the state, but Victoria only took 27 people. I think you'll need 85 points. The easiest state for accounting with 80 points, Tasmania or the Northern Territory. Well, the easiest state is the state of employment. There is no easy state, but seeing as you asked for the easiest, which is really what you're asking for is the less impossible. Is if we look at the states, the Northern Territory or Tasmania. Tasmania took 449 out of 834. Or there's 834 applicants. And the Northern Territory took 205 out of 633 applicants. There's 12,200 accountants trying to get quit. Do you think we need that many accountants? I don't. I'd try and get rid of them. 54 on 105 points, 273 on 100 points, 740 on 95 points. You'd have to have 95 points. With 80 points, you've got no chance. There's 1,382 on 90 points. You still 10 to go. There's only another 3,000 people ahead of you. You need a job, AK. You need a job as an accountant. 482, tried and true. Amit, you need to be sponsored, so you need a full-time job. KH, just skipped over it then. KH, any chance in a small allocation? I don't. Well, the thing is, these interim allocations at the moment, what they're doing is they're saying who's hitting 45 and they're not going to be eligible. Can we get some offers to people whose graduate visas are expiring? Graduates who've studied here but they're over 36 and they can't get a 485. Can we help them out? So these interim allocations, the states are really trying to help people who just can't wait, right? So they're going to be very special allocations. You could see just one-offs and things like that. So you might be a chance in the next month before the full thing comes out, if you're in one of these states which is friendly, which would be the Northern Territory, I think Tasmania. Canberra's just done a round, so they've already used theirs. Victoria's announced a round, so they might do theirs. So, you know, you might get lucky, but you've got to be real lucky, right? Like a lot of these jobs, there's like over 10,000 people applying for really popular jobs in state sponsorship, like nurses, engineers, things like that. And these are all people who should have jobs, right? So I just, you know, you might get lucky, but you're probably not, right? If you do get lucky, go and buy a lottery ticket because you might be on a roll. Okay, Amit Kapoor, I'm in Victoria with 90 points for 491 as a chef. Nah, you've got to find a 482. Welfare is done. Childcare workers, Arjala, if that's correct. Arjala. Childcare worker is not on the list. It's on the CSOL, so you need to be sponsored on a work visa, and if you don't earn enough, then you need to be sponsored on a Dharma agreement. So you're not going to get an offer in the general skills migration world, not on the lists. Harry, any chances of a motor mechanic? We did motor mechanics earlier. Do they give invites in Victoria? Yeah, they do, I'm pretty sure. Motor mechanic. Victoria, they only did 22 offers, but they do give them. If you got 100 points, I don't know for 190, so you got 95 points. 95 points is the top of the list. You're probably a good chance, Harry. When Victoria opens, you might get one. I don't know, like the feds, they're doing, you know, big numbers, 5,000 and 10,000, and so the numbers are dropping. Well, they're not dropping, but they're, you know, the EOIs are. It might take a couple. It might take everyone on 100, everyone on 95, and a couple of people on 90, right? But the states are doing like 600 a month over 5 or 6 months, and you know, if you don't have the top number, then you're really pushing shit uphill, right? That's all I can say. Painters, 75 points, Victoria's. Look, painters need jobs. I say it all the time about tradies. You can't work on a ABN. You need to be employed on a tax file number. Painters, Western Australia is the only state that did state sponsorship for painters. Regions, Western Australia also did painters. They must need painters in Western Australia. So, you know, it's not to say that you won't be successful, because the state could come around and go, oh, we haven't done painters for a while, and they'll issue some. But in Victoria, there's 400 applicants. 41 of them have 85 points. You've only got 75. there's 90 points, 90 people on 80 points, and you're one of 261 people on 75 points. So it's you're pushing shit. If you're in the country, then you want to make an application, like a work application. That's what you want to do. As Fun Deal says, thank you, appreciate that. Someone's gifted me some roses too, I appreciate that. We're up to 36, 14 more to go. We're in League D1 still. How did we end up yesterday? We must have, surely. Oh, well, we're still in League D1. But that's still pretty good. What can I say? Childcare workers, Arjala, needs to be on a 482 or a 494 if you get on a Dharma agreement. Harry, we've done. Never give up. I have an Indian driver's license. Category, can I use it for work? So in Australia, you need to get an Australian driver's license. So assuming, I don't know if you're, I don't know if it's just a driving license or if it's like if you're one of these truck drivers who's making an application, never give up. If you're just I don't know, a residential license, just a regular driving license, you can use an overseas license for 3 months and then you've got to get an Australian one. But if you need it for a commercial purpose, like you want to be an Uber driver or you want to drive a truck or a bus or whatever, then you need to get your Australian driver's license and then you need to get your commercial license. So if you want to be a taxi driver or an Uber driver, you need to get the commercial version or whatever it's called now. I can't remember the name of it. The endorsement, you need to get the commercial endorsement. Or if you're going to drive a heavy truck, you need to get an MC or a HC or a HR license, and you'll need to apply for it. So painters we've done. AK, they have gold, green, orange plus, so do points or points matter even? Well, as I was saying earlier, the points matter less for the states because they've got all these ways of filtering out all of the applicants. So they might say, like they can't, obviously it's very hard to filter out people who are overseas, but a lot of the states are now saying, are you employed in your field? And you need to be employed at the time. So they're not taking people who are unemployed, basically, and they're not taking people who were employed in that 10 years ago but no longer are. So you need not every state, but for a lot of the states, you need current, relevant work experience. They want people who can get here, hit the ground running, and work. Right? Not people who are half baked. I just saw the name, half-baked, who go, oh, I can do it. If you get me here, I can do it, right? No, not. You need to have the skills, right? And you need to be in a job, you need to leave that job, you need to get to Australia and get a job and work, right? It's all about being a worker. Javan, chances of a cook working 6 months now. If you're a cook, get on a 482 visa, right? The occupations they're looking for are teachers, construction workers, medical people like doctors and nurses, did I say teachers? Engineers and IT. I've got all 5, right? So that's what, if you're not in one of those 5 fields, the fact that chefs and cooks got no GSM offers despite there being 23,000 applicants in the pool, that's like 10% of the applicants are chefs and cooks. It means that they're really prioritizing building the economy, not feeding the economy, right? They want to get construction going. They've got mines, they've got the Olympic Games, they've got roads everywhere in New South Wales, they've got trains and roads in Victoria, they've got a big tunnel going in South Australia. I mean, infrastructure is just huge in Australia at the moment, right? So cooks and chefs need jobs. Is there any risk in an 820? Well, the risk is that your relationship doesn't survive the processing time. It can put even the nicest people have arguments, and you know there's a power dynamic. You know, I'm sponsoring you, blah 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 blah. So you better do as I tell you, or I'm going to kick you. Come back to your country, right? So there's definitely risks. But they're manageable, right? But it's not getting on a spouse visa is not a lay down misère. The grant rate's 95%. It's very high, and the turnover rate when they're rejected is 70% at the ART. That's the highest as well. So a lot of people are getting them. There's obviously some fraudulent cases, but not very many. And there's also the fact that a lot of relationships just naturally break down over the course of 2, 3, or 4 years while they're waiting for their permanent residency to be granted. So, yeah, and you know, people obtain criminal records and lose their opportunity to get permanent residence, and people, you know, get cancer or other health conditions, which wrecks their chances of getting permanent residence. So there's always risks, but they're not substantial. If you're in a genuine spouse relationship, you should make an application, and you'll be you'll in all likelihood you'll be successful. So, Jivan, state quotas. Well, Victoria sent in their email to me today, and to everyone else on their email list. wasn't a personal email from the Premier, but they said to me, get the word out, a few weeks. So that's what they said. You can quote me, 2 weeks or something soon like that. Very soon, 2 weeks. Registered nurses, we did earlier, I should say, Garima. Finance manager, any offers I paid and downloaded the app, but I think have not updated. Well, there's a new version coming out. Well, it's in the App Store. Well, it's not in the App Store yet. It's pending the App Store. Download that, and that'll have the latest data. I think if you delete it and download the current version, it'll download all the data again anyway. You'll have the latest data, but you won't have some of the stuff to do with the state sponsorship wizard, which I updated today. But anyway, let's have a look. Finance manager. It's not in general skills, so you've got to hope to be offered a state role. State roles, 2,500 applicants, 91 people on 95 points, 245 people on 90 points, 290 people. The only states are ACT and South Australia offering state sponsorship, and the regions you can include 23 other regional applicants. It looks like on the low numbers, you probably need 90 points to get an offer as a finance manager. Construction, can't help you there. Finance manager, the app has an error. You'll have to be specific. I use it 2 hours a day. It's never crashed on me. So I don't know what the problem is, but if you delete it and download it again, you won't get charged again, and that could fix it. So, but you can drop me an email. My email's here. Inquiries@dragonmigration.com. Send me a screen dump or let me know what the error is, and I'll try and locate it and fix it for you. It's very stable. Javine, which occupation is good? Look, Javine, there's no occupations that are good. Work in a field that you want to work in. There's no way to get permanent residence through not working. So just by doing a course, you need to do a course, work in it, work hard, get sponsored. That's the way. This is the way. Galrima, registered nurse aged care, any chance 190. We looked at him before. Registered nurse aged care. States, no, because none of the states are offering. So unless they do make an offer, they made no offers last year. I think you need work in that field. I've got no idea why they're so late, because, you know, the minister hasn't been having conversations with people, I suppose. You know, they had the winter ball that he had to go to. He's had to go and take his picture taken a couple of times with Chris Hemsworth at some media gigs and things like that. He's a very busy man. Offers for the occupation as shown on the app is for the whole year. The offers are based on last year's, right? Because they're currently closed, right? So there's nothing to show for the current year. The offers are based on last year, yes. So except for general skills migration, because that includes the August offers now, because we got the data 2 days ago. So if you get the latest data, then you'll be up to date. You can't download it for Android, unfortunately. Hello, Sir. Good on you, Prakash. Good luck doing your English test. But lovely to meet you as well. Juan, how about chemistry technicians? We did them earlier. You need a job as a chemistry technician. So that is the story. Okay, well, I think I'm going to call it a day at... Prakash, I don't think you're going to pass the English test, but so keep driving in Nepal. Okay, everyone. Well, it's the weekend, and it's been a great week. A couple of places have opened. Victoria, Canberra's is opened and done a round. The latest version is of Aussie Visa Mate will be out either tonight or tomorrow. Hopefully, they usually take a day to do it. Data scientists need jobs as well. Okay, do I know? I can find out how many are offshore and how many are onshore, but it doesn't make any difference because it's all about the points. So you would assume that the people who are applying are eligible. So yes. How about remaining David? Well, look, the processing. I actually got someone a remaining relative visa. I got it through ministerial intervention. Actually, it was a very, very interesting case. But gone are the days. The 835, the remaining relative visa, are processed in finite time. It used to be 12 to 15 months when I was an agent, or when I was a registered agent. Back in, I don't know, well, before 2015 anyway, about 2013, 14, I think I did this one. So, like, you're onshore and you've got a bridging visa, but I think the processing time is like over 10 years now. So, like, it's good because you're together if you've made an onshore application, but you can't speed it up. It's part of the family stream that's capped. And it's part of the other family stream, which means it's the ones that we don't really want to process. So, but, you know, you're together and hopefully you're on a bridging visa. Hopefully you've got work rights and things like that. The whole point of that visa is that if there's one family member who's overseas and you want to, you know, reunite the family, you can make an application. Well, you know, you've fulfilled the policy obligations, even though, you know, you probably can't buy a house because you don't have a permanent visa. There's not a lot you can do about it. You're going to hope that they don't cancel that visa, because that's the risk. They might close it to new applicants. Like they probably should. They should probably close a lot of those visas to new applicants because the processing times are over a decade. It's ridiculous. Contributing parent visas, aged parents is 31 years. I mean, you're going to die before you get an aged parent visa. So look, yeah, I don't recommend that people apply for that visa. If you can get a job, and like, I don't know how old the person is, if they're already elderly or something, but if they're of working age, if they can get a job, or they're in a relationship and do a spouse application, that's going to get them permanent residence faster, and that's what they should do, rather than languishing on a dead pathway for a remaining relative visa. But I wish you all the best with that. So, Okay, no worries. So